Hello and welcome to another day. My name's Tyler. If you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in. Maybe subscribe to our videos so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. We do a lot of car stuff and engine stuff. I did a little work on my camper, things like that. So, with that being said, today I bought something special. This is a 2018, I think, Apollo RFZ 125. X18 47 52. So this is just a Chinese motorcycle. It is a cheap dirt bike that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace for next to nothing. And I think what I'm going to do today is try to get this thing running and show you guys that you can get a cheap pit bike or a cheap motorized anything. As long as there's a couple of things that you check first, you can actually make these things run and be reliable for fairly cheap. Now, this thing, you can buy a brand new engine for this for $235 on Amazon. Don't believe me? I'll put a link in the description. It might be a little more than that, but I know it's under 300 bucks. So, worst case, if the engine's bad, I mean, whatever. Buy a new one. You still have a pit bike for cheaper than what you would have paid for it new. Now, I checked the compression. Compression's good. It does run very rough, and you have to have starting fluid to start it. The guy put a new carb on it. I think it might be jetted wrong, or pilot jet might be wrong, whatever. Anyways, if you look closely, you can see that I have nothing but the best organizational strategy, and we need to work on this here today. So, I'm going to clean this up a little bit before my wife sees it, and we'll figure out where we're going to start. I think what we're going to do is put a new tube in this back tire, because we're going to start in the wrong place instead of getting it running first and start putting parts on it. Okay, there we go. I just kind of threw everything over there, so that's good enough for me. Now I at least have space to walk around in here, and I can get to this back wheel. I put some air in this tire, and it leaked out immediately, so the tube's shot. I just want to get some air back in this tire before it gets flat spotted and destroyed, so I'm going to put that tube in. So let's do that, and then what we're going to do is I got a new kickstart for this thing, because these are junk and I hate them, and they're dangerous and they're stupid, and whoever made this design with this rubber thing that comes off so that this can destroy your ankle and your feet and everything else, because this is so sharp, like it's literally a point. I poked a hole in my shoe the other day just pushing this. So that's going away. A new one's like 15 bucks. So I'm putting a different style on there so that I don't have to deal with that. Let's start off by working under the assumption that everything on this bike is going to be metric, because it is Chinese. So I would assume that is what everything is going to be. And that is turning. Let's get another socket. Oh my goodness. That's not good. There we go. Boy, whoever put that thing on there didn't want it coming off. So remember how this stuff goes back together, because you got a spacer here, got another spacer on this side. So I'm assuming there's probably one on the other side too. Alright, now that everything has fallen onto the floor, and you're not going to remember how anything goes back together, just kidding. This spacer goes in the middle. It's your outside bearing for this side. Spacer. Good to go. So, now, let's put that spacer back in there so I don't lose it. Put the bearing back. This one goes on that side. This one goes on this side. This is your chain tensioner for this side, right there. And then you got another one on the other side. So now, let's get to work on trying to get this off of here. So your tube nut right here is usually going to be a 12 millimeter, which is what I have right there. So we're going to leave that semi-loose so that we can move the tube around. Ugh. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's grab some big screwdrivers. Now the way that I've found to do this without a tire machine, get you some flat blade screwdrivers and pull one side of the tire into the center of the rim there. Get your screwdriver up in there and work your tire up. So once you have one in, you can start working around your wheel a little bit. So we got one. Now we're going to go two. We're going to pull our tire up. We're going to get another bite down here. There we go. This is the fun part if you don't want to debead the whole tire. Ugh. Okay, spin our little nut off. Push that piece in. Now, should be able to pull this doodad out. Now, I might not be able to get this by myself without another set of hands putting it back together, but I'm going to try. And there's your tube. Okay, so I'm sure there's guys that are going to tell me this is the wrong way to do it, but what I do is you debead this part of the back tire, come over here to the front, pull this out. You can get your booger hooks down in there, push that through. Then you've got your tube, so you're going to take and you're going to rebead this back section just like that. That way you can put your tube inside the wheel like so, and you don't have to sit there and fight to find the center line of the wheel. Make sure you're not caught on your wheel anywhere where you're going to pinch, and then you just reseat your front and you're good to go. Getting some pressure. Okay, we have engaged our 5-gallon bucket stand. We're going to relocate this pin back on over here and make sure our brake caliper is in place. Okay, now we're going to take our bolt, stick our spacer on the end of it, and we're going to start sliding through. Now on this other side over here, I lost my bearing and I don't have my spacer in yet, but this whole assembly tilts a little bit. So we're going to put our center spacer in, or our center whatever, bushing, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Get that lined up with our bearing. Oh, you got to take the bolt all the way out because it sits all the way through. I genuinely hate these kind. So, I'll go grab my other one. We'll put that on. Save our ankles. Okay, so there's our new one. Back on. Just the same way the other one came off. This is not a nice thing. Ooh. Did I just strip that? No, it's tight. So that's done. It's not super nice, but it's better than this, whatever you call this thing. So I started thinking with all my brain, all the power that I had in my head. And, you know, this thing starting only on starting fluid tells me that the pilot jet is probably screwed too far in, would be my guess. And it's probably starving itself for fuel, would be my guess here. Now, I'm not one of them there mechanics, but in my experience, that's usually what it is. This is a poor design. Can't get nothing in there. Okay, dumping fuel everywhere. That's good. Alright, let's see where this pilot jet is set. Just real quick. One half. One half. Alright, we're going to go right there. Now, which way? Okay, that is choke on, choke off. Alright, let's put this thing back together and see if it fires. Okay, now we have some actual settings on the carb, and we know where things are. Alright, fuel on. That. Put this kickstand up. Alright. Hold on to that tight, alright? Watch your foot so I can shift. There we go. Here, put your feet on top of mine. There you go. Still running very rough. But it's running. Alright, we need some serious carb work. Side note, I just thought about something. If anybody makes fun of me for wearing a boot to kick that thing, rake a kickstarter up your leg a couple of times. You'll wear a boot again too. So it's the next day here. We yanked this carb off, and it does indeed look brand new. But if you look, you can see how that's all bunged up. And our idle circuit looks kind of funky too. So we bought a brand new one, and surprisingly, this one came in with my order of chicken fried rice. Considering they're from the same country. So thank you to the local Chinese restaurant for delivering my packages also. But this thing comes with all kinds of brand new stuff, most of which I don't think I'm going to use. I don't really think I need to replace this. You know what? I almost wonder if that gasket in there is bad. I don't know that I really need to replace that piece. See if the carb is the same. It's a VM22 carburetor from the old internet. Looks the same for the most part. Except what I'm noticing is this pilot jet on this one is way, way farther out on the initial setting. Same with the idle adjustment. So let's check that real quick and see how far these are out. Because I almost wonder if, since it's these Chinese type carbs, they have a weird initial setting. Okay, so 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2. Yeah, so it's set at 2 out, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2. Right there. So, first thing I'm seeing is this one, the piece that allows flow for the pilot jet, is kind of jacked up. That might be our problem. We might have found her, fellers. Okay, well, yeah, this carb feels a lot more solid than the other one did. So let's get this all put back together, and we'll try to run this thing. I think I might have found what our issue was before. So this little dude right here goes between the carburetor and the intake, and it's supposed to have an O-ring in it. Well, when I took this off, it didn't have an O-ring in it. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that wasn't sealing. So that was probably why we weren't pulling any fuel in. So let's put this back together with kind of some of the new stuff and see if this works. I think it's going to. Okay, we slapped that back together real quick. I didn't figure you guys really needed to see what was going on too much. I mean, it's literally just taking a couple of bolts out, putting a new carb on, done. So now got our drains back in. I don't know where this thing's supposed to go. Sure, right there. That looks nice. Maybe this one's supposed to go through there. Put that one there. Run that one down through this hole right here. I think we should be just about good to kick this thing and just see if she wants to fire. I've also got a couple more parts we're going to put on here, but let's just do this first and clean up our mess and just see if anything happens. Okay, let's try for the first start here with the new carb. Alright, we're on run. Choke is on. Fuel is on. See what happens. Come on, girl. Already a lot more happy than it was before. So our spark plug severely fouled. Can't smell anything. Trying to tell if it's oil or gas. It looks like kind of a mixture of both. Just running really rich. Alright, we're getting the idle cleaned up a little bit right now. She's not perfectly happy yet. Alright, after messing with it, well, it died. She still has some bugs, but let's see if she'll just fire right back up. Oh yeah, way better. She still doesn't like to sit and idle too much by herself, but that's substantially cleaned up and it fired up easy. So I say we go bust it around, take it for a spin, see what it's like. After a bunch of fiddling, I got it. We had to get that pilot jet just perfect, the right amount of fuel, get our idle set up right. Bike's hot, so let's ride it real quick and see how it is. Actually, it feels really nice. Still a little bit of rev bang, but nothing crazy. Only in neutral. Yeah, I think we got it. If you don't have one and you want to adjust it on the bike, this is your tool right here. They're about 15 bucks, and it's got like a gear inside of here that allows you to spin the end of it and turn that, see? So then you can get up in here and adjust your pilot screw, okay? So we got all that done. We need to address this. That's not how it's supposed to be. So let's put our new one on. This one also came in my order from earlier, from the Chinese restaurant. I actually got a new clutch cable with it, and a brake lever and a clutch lever. So now we got spares. Alright, so I know the lighting's not the greatest in here, so I apologize in advance, but actually, you know what? Let's do the right thing and check and see if our lever is the same. And what I actually need to take off here, because I don't remember what I ordered. So this one, that is brake. That's our brake lever. That means that this one is our clutch lever. And lo and behold, I was right. You take the whole thing off. So to get this off, we're gonna just spin this all the way in until we get lined up there like that, and then we can screw in. Oh, maybe. Is it gonna happen? Let me grab a pair of pliers. There we go. Okay, we got it. I just wanted to make sure everything was good before I started yanking on stuff. Okay, now it's literally just the reverse here. We're just going to line everything up. We're going to take this piece. Boop. Yep, we're going to have to. Nope, never mind. I got it. Now we're just going to adjust until we take all the slop out of that right there. Freaking cheap, guys. I'm telling you, dirt cheap. This is nothing as far as cost goes. I think this new lever with the new cable and the brake lever was like 13 bucks, 12 bucks, something like that. I mean, cheap as dirt. So this is just something, I didn't have to do this, but this was driving me nuts. I don't know if the spring, I think the spring came unwound or broke or something, but that was driving me crazy. So it was cheap enough, I decided I was just gonna fix it. Well guys, I think that's gonna be about it for me today. I think I'm gonna head home, go hang out with the wife, but I just wanted to show you guys it's really easy to get out and get something, have some fun. A little bit of know-how, and you can do it. So the bike cost me a few $100s. I got a couple $100 in parts. Actually, not even. I got maybe $100 in parts in this thing, if that. I highly doubt it. Some of the stuff I didn't need. This, my kickstarter. Basically, all I bought was a carb and a new spark plug, just because. So, just take a risk every now and then. You know, you're not gonna really lose out on these pit bikes because the engines are so cheap. So if there was something wrong with this one, I mean, honestly, you could buy a brand new one, have a nice bike for way cheaper than buying a brand new one. So, anyways,